Thin and light gaming notebooks or laptops, depending on how you refer to them, have long been an area typically dominated by Intel and NVIDIA, and has been the case for several years. Now, AMD has actually tried entering the market with their own offerings, but it's been little to no success with them. That is, at least until now. I'd like to introduce you to this. It's the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14, and it's by far one of the most surprising gaming notebooks that has come to our labs, and I have actually loved testing it throughout the period. At this point, you're probably wondering, John, what makes you say that this is one of the most surprising laptops you've ever played with? I mean, it's an AMD chipset that's underneath the hood. Well, I'll tell you why I think it's very surprising. And on that note, it is because of the fact that it has an AMD chipset running underneath that makes it all the more surprising. In any case, I'm going to go through it one by one with you. But above all else, it's that one feature plus a combination of another thing that really makes it sing. For a start, it's not the design of the notebook. Now, I will be the first to tell you that this is a very sleek design. I cannot stress that enough. It looks gorgeous. It comes in white like this and black, but even in white, this is by far one of the most decent looking designs for a gaming notebook I have ever seen. Kudos to that, ASUS, especially to your ROG Zephyrus line. But that's not what makes this notebook stand out. It's not the weight of it either. This is actually very light for a gaming notebook. And I mean, you really need to actually be here to hold this to understand why I say it. Most gaming notebooks would typically weigh in at about 2 kilos or maybe more. The very few exceptions that weigh less than that, I think some of you would agree with me when I say this, they don't look quite as good as this. You get a healthy fare of USB Type A ports, 3.1, and 2 USB-C ports, one of which can be used to charge the notebook. ASUS has actually confirmed that with us. Well, I have yet to try it, but maybe if I still have time with this, I will. In any case, even if you don't want to charge it through the USB-C port on this side, it still has the basic proprietary charging port here, as well as a HDMI port for you to, output it to a different display. One of the things I love about the Zephyrus G14 though, in regards to its design, is this, the ergo lift hinge. It's an intricate piece of design, and I think it's a brilliant implementation on ASUS's part. I love the way the hinge just lifts the base off the surface at an angle, giving it a better airflow, thus theoretically making it perform better because of cooling. But more on that later as we delve into this performance. But in any case, ergo lift aside, there's also the back of it. If you notice, half of it at a diagonal angle is actually peppered with what looks to be holes, but these holes actually serve a purpose. This is actually part of the G14's anime LED matrix. Bottom line is, this is a review unit, or in this case an engineering sample, so it doesn't actually work, regrettably. But go online and actually check it, and you will find out, especially on ASUS's official site for the product, this actually lights up, and lights up in a variety of ways as you deem fit for it. You just have to do a bit of programming here and there. I want to move on to another aspect of the design, and that's on the inside of it, the keyboard of the Zephyrus G14. ASUS has actually taken the trouble to make the key caps a little deeper in the middle. They've shaved it off essentially to allow for what they say is a more comfortable typing experience. And if I'm honest, actually, throughout the period of my testing with it, it does feel a lot more comfortable in typing. I guess what I'm trying to say is shaving down those keycaps to make it a little bit deeper has somewhat alleviated the fatigue that is usually associated in typing with laptop keyboards. You get the basic backlit keyboard LEDs, but it's not RGB, so it's static. So don't expect the world for it. What makes the Zephyrus G14 special is that it's an AMD powered system, but not just any AMD powered system. It's one of the few notebooks on the market right now that is actually running on AMD's new Ryzen 4000 Mobile Series laptop processors. It's running on a Ryzen 9 4900HS, the second most powerful processor in AMD's new Ryzen 4000 Mobile Series arsenal. I say second most powerful simply because the most powerful one on paper is the 4900H. Yeah, go figure. Other specs include a 16 gigs DDR4 RAM clocked at a frequency of 3200 megahertz. This comes with an SSD by default, obviously, NVMe PCIe SSD of 1 terabyte. And again, for this particular notebook, it has a NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Max-Q. Now, there's also options for less powerful versions of a GeForce card. You've got the GTX 1650 up to a 1660 Ti as well. But suffice to say, the most powerful you're ever going to get with this notebook, however, is a 2060 Max-Q. The display has two flavors. The one here is a Full HD resolution with 120 Hz refresh rate, and the second one, 1440p, but you only get 60 Hz. As for questions about why it's 120 and not 144, believe me when I say I did pose that question to ASUS, the answer of which I pretty much got was, it's very simply, there are no 14-inch displays that are capable of supporting 144 Hz at this moment, which is fair. Now, as an everyday daily driver, typing on it as I used it for checking my mail, doing my work, or watching the random videos on occasion, it works beautifully. Having all these components working together and a big 76 watt-hour battery really makes it worth the investment. I will say this. But when I start running games, as with all gaming notebooks, it runs like a bat out of hell. It really does sing, and by sing I mean the fan blades whirl and just go into action. Like all gaming notebooks, even with the best of thermals that ASUS has put into the G14, it still has the tendency of burning my fingers off. I don't expect you to go putting your hands at the top of the base, but if you do while you are gaming, I do urge caution because it does get hot. At maximum loads, the entire thing was going at 100 degrees constant. But the only solace to that is that once you stop gaming at any level, just shutting down, the application you're running, the heat throttles down extremely fast. But it still doesn't change the fact that it does hurt and it will burn your fingers. So then the question is, what exactly is so special about the Zephyrus G14? And the answer to that is the CPU itself, the Ryzen 9 4900HS. I mean, holy sh**. Whatever preconceived notions that you may have or I had about the 4900HS before I even got my hands on it, it was completely thrown out the window, pardon the cliche, when I started using a notebook as my daily driver. When I am not gaming with it, I was getting on average of 9 hours, give or take, and that's with me being conservative with it. Regardless of my usage though, the average battery aggregate was listing the power left or the battery remaining at 10 hours maximum, no more, no less, which is astonishing because I had initially preempted that I would get no more than 5 hours on this notebook, and not even gaming. Not that I actually game, because I personally don't game on battery. I also believe that the efficiency of the CPU, being an 8-core and 16-thread CPU, is prolonged because of the notebook's 76 watt-hour battery. So that pretty much leaves us with one other question that's on our minds. It's pricing. And that is actually $1 million question, one which I wish I had the answer to. Ah, yeah, baby, that's right. Oh, right. Sorry about that. Hi guys. So there's been a bit of an update at the time of this video going live on all the social media platforms. ASUS has provided us with 2 bits of information. If you read my initial report right here, you'll understand what I'm going to be talking about. So the 2 bits of information is the price as well as the launch date of it. In fact, I'm just going to start with the launch date and then the price. So this notebook, the G14, is going to be launched by ASUS on the 29th of June. Pricing for the top tier variant is $7,699. Not cheap, not terribly expensive either, considering the other high-end gaming notebooks out there, but it is what it is. There is a catch though. Unlike the review unit that I had tested personally, the top tier variant coming into Malaysia isn't going to have a 120Hz refresh rate Full HD panel. Instead, it's only going to have a WQHD panel, or 1440p for some of you who prefer that lingo, with a maximum refresh rate of 60Hz. I know what you're thinking, it does raise eyebrows. It most certainly raised our eyebrows. And also the question of whether or not ASUS is, well, you forgive us ASUS for saying this, shooting themselves in the foot, shooting itself in the foot. In any case, the 120Hz Full HD panel is going to be limited to the lower tier variants of the G14, to which ASUS Rep had also told us they're going to make an announcement about those variants on the 29th of June itself. But in any case, just to reiterate, the top tier variant, the top tier spec Zephyrus G14 with the AMD Ryzen 9 4900HS and the NVIDIA GeForce RTX 2060 Max-Q is only going to have a 1440p 60Hz panel. Yeah, anyway, that was pretty much the update. But yeah, anyway, back to the main show. And that is our hands-on look at the ASUS ROG Zephyrus G14. If you liked the video, don't forget to like and subscribe to Lowyat TV, and don't forget to hit the bell icon so you'll get notified when we release new content. This is John from Lowyat.net. Thanks for watching.